All right, when y'all come in, put one in the chat so I know you hear me. I'm just gonna start talking because this is what I like to do on this channel. Now, you all know that I'm going to be in and out, and what I'm talking about is my voice. So, for those that come in later, understand that every time I go live, I'm going live with a host of divine beings of all shapes, sizes, and forms. What's going on, Victorious T? I hope you're having a wonderful morning, noon, night, wherever you may be. I'm sitting here noticing some things about my device. So if you are someone that is seeing no connection or something pertaining to internet, then know that we are currently in the same frequency because most of my viewers are multidimensional. However, Grand Rising, I know that salutation comes from the conscious community. I used to say that a lot over 11 years ago. No problem, no problem. So when I see stuff like Grand Rising, that tells me you're either active in the conscious community or you once were. Now, there's a lot of people that start picking up that lingo because they feel like it's trendy, but they don't necessarily know what that is meaning, Grand Rising. That stemmed from good morning. In the conscious community, there's a lot of wordplay. Someone got the bright idea telling someone good morning is not the thing to do. What's going on, Layla? So how's y'all weekend going so far? I actually have a reading that I'm in the midst of editing that talks about a raid. So some of you developed the ability to see, and you don't need a crystal ball in order to do so. We are the Asikisifia. I see my eye. That's what I see. My art is I see you get the see. My art is a being, not a salutation. You all understand, especially those of you that have multiple accounts. When you use names like Bastet, Mayat, ISIS, you have to understand that these are living entities, beings, pantheons somewhere else, and they don't like it. Mayat became a symbol for justice for a reason. I'm just telling you, Grand Rising, I'm just telling you, not to get you to change your name, but for you to understand that that is an actual being somewhere that has a lot of weight. How it works is if you're not one of them, they're going to say you don't belong with that. Now, some of you've been over there on the tickety-tuckety, and you've encountered some of the stuff that I've seen. I know because I'm seeing visions of it. Why it's important is not everything you see coming from what you believe to be a high priestess or a witch. She's not a sorceress. Does not need to be gathered. And what they're talking about is you don't need to ingest that information because it's not for you. A lot of times you encounter individuals that were stuck. They got stuck because they did something that they shouldn't have did. And that means that they were once considered multidimensional. Oh, thank you. Aztec. You've been around my channels for a very long time. When certain angels come through, it makes my voice raspy and it makes me feel like I have to clear my throat. They do that on purpose. Aztec is a Asafaki. Aztec once was a man. They make it a tradition or a thing, and people start following it. It is because you're interested in it. The ones that are indeed descendants of Mayat have no interest in it because of the Hadasi that took place. You could be acting as not an intuit, something like a carrier. They don't want me to use the word that I'm trying to use, which you would understand. So this is what you got to understand about these type of beings. You're a conduit. That means when people see it, that mayat, especially partnered there with the truth, it triggers something. So you could be considered someone that facilitates people to arrival. And this is why you chose it. There are many allies associated with Ma'at. What we know to be true is you are Sisikati, which they considered an enemy. It's a reading of your energy. Um, the reason why they said an enemy is because they know your lineage. A lot of you only ascended to a certain point. You don't know your great mothers, you don't know your great fathers, you don't know where you come from. The universe, the galaxy, the dimension. It's very difficult when we have a major paradigm shift ascension, which we have been going through since 1992. However, it's been in sequence. That means it went from one galaxy to another, and it took a total of 20 years because the one that became, yeah, it is associated with the bridge. Some people, where you're at, you don't realize that there was another bridge outside of the Golden Gate that went down. So when you start, it would be under earthquake. For some of you, that's what you'll find the other bridge. It's under earthquake. What is a Hadasi? A Hadasi, not a Hadsi. A Hadasi means it is something considered demonic or wicked for them. That's the best way to describe it. It's someone doing something to a divine being that goes against their commandments. That's what a Hadasi is. If you look it up, it would be like H-E-I-R or something like that. A lot of times the meanings change with these paradigm shifts. So that means what something means to you is not necessarily going to mean to us. So you have to understand there's different terminology, different words, different meanings with different eras. Some of you are old enough to realize that the meanings of words change. Oh, no problem, Authentic. So anyone have any questions, go ahead and type it in the chat. No problem. What you need to know is a lineage reading. That type of stuff happens when you are a member of Sun, Moon, and Stars Intuitive. Because you did not go through the proper channeling, you don't realize who you are. And that means you're tapping into someone else's energy, believing that it is yours. You are what they consider an NSVJ a true one, because the NSVJs of their times flew. That means they were in the sky. The universe mother and father is associated with Ara, I-E. So what they're saying, what they typed and what someone is asking is two different things. This is what happens when you attempt to use that channel, which is telepathy, to communicate with ether, which is me. It's me, y'all, but when they want you to realize that you are talking to divine beings that are not ether, they could very much control my speech. But for this particular reading here, because this is an energy reading, what is going to happen is those that come in and do not like the video will be the ones on our radar. So They want you to understand that divine beings, angels, Sovereignatashis, great mothers, great fathers, is a real thing. And this is the purpose of ascension, for you to realize that there's different type of content that is more suited for your level of education spiritually. Aztec, your universe mother is Zafosi Nasi Shikatia. You are not an underworld being. You are above. That means you hail from the sky, not the waters. Aztec is associated with earth energy. You come from the sky. Your energy is the energy of communication, even if you're not an air sign. Some of you, you are familiar with Ophiuchus, not Octavius. Ophiuchus is the 13th zodiac sign for several different eras. When it was confiscated out of the holy doctrine, it is because someone entered in distortion and wanted to hide something. Where you will find the truth is in the lost books, not the ones that are presented. It's best to get those copies while they're not popular. There are several individuals that have 1617. I just recently realized there's 186, and this type of information only comes when you ascend to a higher height. Things are released to you. Which ones? Exactly. That's the point. There's 186. If you were to Google it, it would probably say 17, 18, 48, depending on where you're at. It happens when you go to a different plane of existence and your mind is open to be able to intuit what the information is talking about. What you're talking about, Maya, is a distorted universe. A lot of people don't realize that when you ascend, you go to different universes and different realms in your mind. It starts off with little things happening, like sensitivity to ice. Some of you, y'all seen that, do not ingest iced coffee because you were going through a specific type. And if you were to drink it, it was so jarring that it would stop you in your tracks. I appreciate you. The reason why Aztec stands out is because of the picture associated with it. You were in a place where all of the beings are black, which is close to the truth, but not every one of you is considered black. I went through a period where I drank ginger tea. It's a cleansing medicine. That means when you ingest ginger, it cleans you out from the inside. What you're talking about is the root, which could only be acquired in a Asian shafasa. The ginger root is the actual root in tonic. What you're drinking is leaves. The ginger root comes in a jar. It's happened to several, although they didn't associate it with a specific type of ascension. It was iced coffee and the frappuccinos. I couldn't do it. The cold ones. What you're going to find, I'll say beets and other things. Beets is considered a fruit for them. This is my attempt on trying to talk to you so you all can understand that I have control. What's happening is I'm using my words, and other angels are talking when I'm talking, and these are so high ranking that their voice is prominent. Burdock root, that is a root for a spell. For you, you don't need to drink roots. If you want to drink a tea, then you get a tea. But roots is not for you. That is for what we all know as sangomas. They are not the equivalent of high priests. It's a different type of ascension. What y'all don't realize is when you go through certain types of ascension, you will be considered no more, but you're put back in your body. So this invite for what? My, I am the guide. When I go to sleep, it's different for me. It's not like when a regular person, and I'm not tooting my own horn or nothing, goes to sleep. I've experienced about where I could not remember my dreams, and that's not something that is good for me. So, what's going to happen to chat? Who's inviting you to chat? What I know to be true currently is where I'm at, the energy is different. They are noticing that there's a sneaky energy. Your aura shows up as red and orange, which is not a good thing. When you encounter people that read auras, they're going to say you are tainted. This is for someone that is not speaking. If there was a bona fide witch in here, they would be doing something to you. You all have to understand that real witches read energy. They don't need cards, they don't need balls, they don't need crystals, they don't need anything. Well, you know what, Aztec? You might have been in a dream. They call it something else with me. What'll happen is you'll notice someone and you'll say, is that ether? For you to be awake in your dreams, that is truly divine. Not a lot of people could be awake. That means they're not coherent, like as if they were in the room with you and somebody says, hey, Aztec. And you look and say, hey, that is your energy in a dream, Aztec. That means if you see something that is frozen in a dream, that is somewhere I've been. I'm talking about someone frozen. They don't move. Because something is being blocked off. If you are someone that feels like you lasted longer than you did in a past life, that is the reason. Sometimes you can't see yourself past a certain age. If you can't see yourself past a certain age, that means you never lived past that age. So, for a few of you in here, especially the ones that are commenting, you lived long enough to know of past lives. And what that talks about is when you encounter the energy that is entailing a past life in that body that you're currently in, you adhere to it, you accept it, you believe that that is something that you went through. A lot of you, you will you will go through these different realms in your mind, and as you go through these different realms, different information is exposed to you. That means it's meant for you to see. It doesn't necessarily mean that that is your lineage, your heritage, or your pathway. A lot of times it's a mistake, and when someone that is truly supposed to be on that pathway sees it, it sends them in the right direction, which is usually the left-hand path. Nat- what's up, naturally? Well, when you feel that nausea, that means you're picking up on someone that tried to bind you. That's something that they are experiencing. This group in here is not like the other ones. These ones really have gifts. It definitely is an attribute to ascension. A lot of people are experiencing the same type of ailments that you're having, but their body is going through it differently. So what I'm trying to say is, you feel nauseated. Other people at the same time as you feeling nauseated are also feeling it. Some are actually upchucking, and others are holding it back, like trying to stop themselves. When I went through your specific ascension naturally, which was years ago, more than 5, I couldn't eat meat. For you, it's something different. I'm talking about the smell in my nose when I would go into a grocery store. I couldn't go on the outskirts where the not well, yeah, by the produce. The meat, the meat, the smell. What it means is you're going through an ascension where your body doesn't need it. So he take heed. If you feel sensitive when you eat something, that means you don't need to eat it. At least not at that moment. The nausea is a part of ascension, as you can see. When y'all are openly talking about what you believe to be symptoms, well, I have to say that you have to seek medical attention if you feel like, you know, like something's going to happen. But not everyone does, and it's a part of their pathway. Well, sometimes I can't let them say what they want to say because they don't realize that this is a community here. You know what, Dancehall Diva? That is hilarious. You know why? Because when I was there where you are currently at, in that energy and in that space, not physically, spiritually, I would do it too. That was over 14 years ago. I would go back and I would say, how did this happen? You're supposed to be at peace. When you don't have um, chaos in your environment, you're at peace. That's that's the God, which is Universal Life Force Source, which is the Great I Am. Um, any name that you could think for a higher power that is more than a supreme being. That's his way of messing with you. Pyro Piper. Well, he's letting you know that you're indeed seeing something somewhere, but he's not showing you the true image. Sometimes he does not want us to be afraid. He does it to me. He does it to me, Pyro. I can't see or exactly, but I sense things as an empath. Well, you believe that you are NSVJ, you're greater than an NSVJ. You're not considered a normal being. Yes, the morning. You feel like it's a curse. I felt the same way when I was there. What you're gonna notice, Emily, is that when you shift to another universe, because you are someone that believes that you are multidimensional and you see signs when you go outside, you're going to notice that the energy around certain individuals is changed. And you're going to say, is this person multidimensional? What is going to happen with you specifically, Emily, is the ones that you allow around your energy are going to betray you because you were told to do something and you didn't do it. And I know it because the God is in my energy. When the God comes, it's like he's sitting in your body. When the God comes, he brings so many Natashis that are also Archangel Sapphons. You see a lot of beings in front of your window. Uh, you would see a lot of beings. It's not because of anything you're ingesting, it's because of who you are. No, it's not that you're hurting anyone. It is a part of your ascension. If you all knew what I went through just in the last 3 years, you would say, "My God, it's movie worthy. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's not that your speech is off or anything like that. It's the type of information that you are ingesting, like you're absorbing it. It's not for you, but when people see it, it triggers them. It triggers them on the right path. When you notice things like that, it is because there are spirits and not necessarily monitoring spirits, because monitoring spirits for these specific type of Sobri and Tashis that are women and androgynous beings. It, it, what is happening now is someone is trying to intercept your thoughts, Emily. Well, what they feel, Emily, specifically, is that you shouldn't be in here commenting. This is not none of my team. This is someone that is in observance of you. It's because of the name. Beyond the veil, how are you? Sunflowers are my thing in this paradigm. Sunflowers are the flowers of angels. So you remember that. Well, what is happening is not the pronunciation, it's the fact that you are trying to read when ether is reading. And when you try to read when ether is reading, what happens is we take over your voice. We know Ma'atara Tus is someone that feels like if she changes her image, that people will like her. What is happening is they're giving you several different voices that were communicating with you, telling you not to do something, and you continue to do it, my ethereal truth. What happens, let me explain to them what's happening. Because you all are multidimensional, there's different truths in that universe. So that means you did something there, and they see you as that energy. All right, beyond the veil. You have the energy of being impartial. So you don't know whether to take me, ether, for truth because of all the information that you've ingested that is distorted. What happens is it blinds you from your own truth. You went through a sync type of ascension. You're not as high as ether. You think you are, but you're not. The information that comes through ether is authentic, organic, and original. Yours is copied. What that talks about is someone else's truth that lived in an era when others did not believe what he was talking about. What happens is we are introduced to information, and as the evolution comes, that means that you see it as truth, but you were not present. You were not present when that took place. The veil left. You believe that you are, but you're not. Emilia. Okay. Emilia. When they look through their eyes, they see Emily. You see, now you understand. What happened with you, Emilia, is you were blocked from your own galaxy, your own universe. What happened is when I ascended to become a pantheon, not where you're at, but close, that meant I opened up to my heritage lineage that indeed is from the existence of Baphomet. So Baphomet is indeed my universe father. How you see Baphomet is not the truth. One man's God is another man's devil. That is very popular with me because I believe Bobby Hemmett is my master teacher. Some of you, you ascended so high that you could hear him speaking. It doesn't matter if you believe he is no more or not. He is a being. When I went through that type of ascension that two of you are currently going through, I encountered Bobby Hemmett's tutelage, and I gravitated towards it because that's my pathway. This was over 17 years. So what you all know is information now. I ran across 17 years ago. Well, the vocabulary is limited because you're not open. That part of your brain is not open to be able to communicate with your lineage, not heritage. When you hear all of these different divine beings of all types, shades, sizes, forms come through me, it's because these are my lineage. There's a difference between lineage and heritage. When you have a heritage, that meant a legacy was left. A lot of you are like me in the sense that there was Asa Kano put on you. That meant you had a very deep hex put on your lineage. That meant everything that came after you came in a hex, including people. That means you were born with a hex on you. Everyone in this chat currently is not responsible for the hex that befell you. That came from your universe parents. That means your biological parents and your universe parents share you in common, but you are originally from your universe parents. If you know that your soul is old, that means you were reincarnated and incarnated in different planes. When you say you are multidimensional, that means you can access different realms like no other. It is because you did not go high enough, Aztec. What happened to you happened 3 bodies ago. That meant you were present somewhere and they got you. You did not ascend from where you should have ascended from, and it blocked you from your universe parents in that body. That means you ascended like you've done before, but not high enough, not yet, to meet your universe parents. Shanagain is my universe mother. Shanagain is not in his story because of the hex. A lot of you believe that it is someone great like Isis or Ma'at, and it's not. Yours comes from hidden. It's one of you in here that could find your lineage in a lost book, but they're not going to tell you because you have to do the work. That means you have to trust your intuition. I just picked up an energy in the reading. It's not edited yet, where someone had an eye on them. This is how spirits, entities, beings, ETs, aliens communicate. Similar to what God does to you when He shows you cartoons. They're showing you that they are watching you. That means there's a giant somewhere watching you spiritually. When things like that happen, you take heed. Others that have similar gifts, greater and lesser, got that same message, but it came to them in a different vision. That meant they seen the same frequency. They didn't know it was you, but they got a different energy. That means God showed it to them different. When you got that giant watching you energy, was recent. When you ascend past someone else that you're not supposed to, that happens. That comes from saying, put me where ether is, for you specifically, Pyro. 3 years ago. Yes, 3 years ago. Well, what is happening is, with you, you received a message of a watchful eye recently, possibly this morning or last night, because several of us got that energy, even in this very live. You believe like it is Andromeda. You believe that the giant is a protector and he's not. Why you got that is because you put yourself someplace that you weren't supposed to be. Unwarranted is what they're saying. That means you were somewhere you shouldn't have been, and when you went to sleep, they gave you a message. No, protector. What is happening is you encounter some information, possibly online, Emilia. You encountered something, and when you read it, it put you somewhere you shouldn't have been. Well, some people come in and try to practice their gifts. This one wants to see if he can stop time when I already informed everyone at the beginning that they had no connection. What they want to do is they want to see who is open to the information, who will talk about it, who will type about it, and then they'll do things like, I'm Emilia, in their mind to see who responds. So if you start hearing that, it is because you ascended while you were on live with me. Some people, they do things so purposely to be able to ascend, not necessarily where I'm at, but they think it's going to be where I'm at. What'll happen is they gotta cherry pick you out of the crowd and put you somewhere else in a different energy. It's not for proof because you're someone that is stuck. It has nothing to do with a hobby, but it has something to do with enough. But what is happening is someone is viewing your energy beyond the veil with theirs. Well, What tends to happen is for those of you where they can see if you are a member, they'll start off thinking they can intimidate you, and then when they really truly realize that my members are under divine protection, they stop. That's a sign. Of course, everything is working and moving outside. Everything is working and moving. When you go out, everything looks normal. However, for your specific energy, it's not. And a sign of it is seeing no connection. If you were to go online and see if something was down right now, they would tell you everything was fine. Even when a group, say about 500 people, report that their internet is down, what they'll do is start investigating it. But when they initially look, it's not there. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to end it because you are indeed right, Aztec. But the thing is, they're saying some of you are members and some of you are not. What's going to happen, because they want to continuously do this, is they're going to find out that this is a protected channel. Some of them feel like it's only on certain channels, which is ridiculous. They think that they're geniuses and they're not. They're trying to create a theory off of my energy and it's not going to work. Many have tried. Connie, what happened is you were somebody that watched it, you were in agreement with you. That reading came out right on time because at that time you're supposed to disassociate yourself even from adult children. What happens is you start to realize why there's a thing called universe parents. It's a whole bunch of jumbled up information. You all don't realize that you've given birth, for some of you, to pass